Hey guys, and welcome to round 4 of my AFL 2020 tipping video. This season has been something... This whole year has been very, very strange. But who would expect the Gold Coast Suns to be sitting third on the ladder with the Tigers once again in their most valuable and important spot, ninth on the ladder, looking into the 8. Thursday night football. Sydney Swans versus the Western Bulldogs. The Sydney Swans are sitting 7th on the ladder, winning a great game over the North Melbourne Kangaroos last week, with the Western Bulldogs still 16th on the ladder, but looking amazing against their rivals, the Greater Western Sydney Giants. It's going to be a very tough ask. Josh Dunkley out for the Bulldogs could be a big hit for their Bulldogs midfield, and I feel like the Swans... I've wrote them off most this season, and I feel like they have the capabilities to win, and I think they'll get the 4 points this game. I reckon the Swans will win by 10 points. The Swans win by 10 points. Giants versus Collingwood. Friday night football. What should have been a blockbuster game, I feel like it's going to be a bit of an embarrassment for the Giants this season. The Giants are sitting 12th on the ladder. Collingwood 2nd. It's going to be held at Giants Stadium. Will that hold advantage for the Giants? Probably not. Collingwood looked amazing against St Kilda at the MCG last week, with the Giants falling to the Bulldogs in a game that they just didn't even care for the football. They cared too much about the rivalry, cared too much about some push and shove, and they just didn't look like hungry for the football. I think Collingwood will once again show that they're an alpha dog in this competition, and will win by... They'll win by just over 4 goals. I'm going to say they win by 26 points. Here we are, Saturday afternoon football. Port Adelaide, the first place team versus a very disappointing West Coast Eagles to start the 2020 season. I said the Eagles would finish top of my ladder prediction, and now I think that's in huge jeopardy. Port Adelaide looked amazing in the wet last week against Freo. They've looked amazing all year, but they haven't really faced a true contender just yet. This is their first task against the Eagles, who I still think will be up there when the season ends, but I have to go with Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide performed better at the hub in their one game this season. The Eagles seem to be struggling at Metricon. I'm going to say Port Adelaide win by 16 points in a game where the Eagles improve once again, but still aren't at the level where they want to be. Marvel Stadium, St Kilda versus Richmond, Saturday afternoon football. Dusty's back. I assume he is. The Tigers are 9th, the Saints are 11th. The Saints looked amazing in round 2 against the Bulldogs, but fell short by a huge margin against Collingwood the next week. The Tigers, on the other hand, have looked poor since the COVID restart. Terrible against Collingwood in round 2, and abysmal against the Hawks around 3. They're still favoured to win this matchup against the Saints, and I have to go the Tigers and use my head. But it has been upset galore here, and I would not be surprised if St Kilda get over the line. I'm going to say the Tigers win by 14 points in a game where it's back and forth, but in the last quarter they run over them at the end. Saturday night football. The non-coronavirus man, Connor McKenna. Negative man, negative test. Don't even know if he had COVID at all now. Versus the Carlton Blues, the Navy Blues, who had one of the best upsets of the year at Geelong last week. The Bombers have played well to start this season. They're sitting comfortably in the top 4 with 2 games played. Carlton is still struggling a little bit. 13th on the ladder. I think the Bombers will win this one at the MCG. I'm going to say they win by... Carlton are going to have a bit of a poor game. They're going to come back down to earth a little bit. I'm going to say the Bombers win by 27. Another Saturday night game. This time at Metricon. The Suns host the Freo Dockers. Who would have seen this coming? The Gold Coast Suns, 3rd on the ladder. The Freo Dockers, 17th. These were my predicted bottom 2 sides, with the Gold Coast Suns winning the wooden spoon. I'm shocked. And it looks like they're actually the favourites again in this game. But do we use our brains or do we use our hearts? Can the Gold Coast Suns actually maintain this performance? I honestly think they can. I think they can actually push for a top 8 spot this year. I know some of the alpha dog teams are going to absolutely obliterate them. But the Gold Coast Suns, I've got a soft spot for them. And for that reason, I'm going to tip them by 29 points against Freo. Matt Rao once again is going to shine. Noah Anderson, Connor Butterick, the Rising Star nominee for round 3, was beautiful off the back line. I think they're going to be a great team in a couple of years, and I think this is the year that they finally get their momentum towards breaking out of their inaugural season and that slump that they had. Sunday afternoon football. The Lions versus the Crows. I'm going to keep this one short. Lions win by 40. Crows are terrible. It doesn't look like they got any improvement in their last game. It's just hack footy. They've got no structure, no ball movement. They look slow. I don't know what they're doing, man. I don't know what they're doing. The Lions win comfortably by 40. Would not be surprised if it's more Lockie Neal to go off and get 3 votes easily again. The Melbourne versus Geelong at the MCG. I'm going to say the Cats bounce back after their terrible loss against Carlton last game. The Cats are going to win by 21. I have full faith that Dangerfield, Selwood, and the Geelong Cats midfield will definitely lift after getting absolutely obliterated from Paddy Cripps last game. The D's, I feel like they're going to be a bit rusty, missing a week. Step slow. Paddy Dangerfield's going to go off. I have full faith in that. And this is another very, very interesting game. Sunday night football. Hawthorn, amazing against the Tigers last week, against the North Melbourne Kangaroos, who have been good all season. Even in their loss to Sydney, they weren't too bad. I'm gonna go Hawthorn here. Go the favourite. Hawks win by, I'm gonna say 10 points in a very, very close game. I don't think I picked much upsets this round. I think we've had our fair share of upsets for the round, ladies and gentlemen. And I feel like maybe we're finally starting to see where teams are this season. It was hard to pick them early on, but now we've seen a couple of games under each team's belt, and hopefully the upsets start to die down. If there was one upset I'd choose, it would probably be... The one upset, I'd probably say Saints over Richmond would be the upset I'd choose. That's the danger game for the Tigers, I reckon. Anyway, guys, if you agree with my tips, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. If you disagree, comment your own tips, and we can compare them during the weekend. See who does well, see who doesn't. May shout you out in the next video if you can prove that you get all 9 right with a comment before any games released today. I'm out now. See you later. Enjoy the rest of your night.